Once they came to Jesus and said, "Boil it all down, Jesus. What's this whole religion thing all about? How much we pray? How much we read the Bible? How much we give? Is it about building big houses of worship that cost tons of money so God knows how much we think of Him? Boil it down, Jesus. Is it about our worship, our liturgy? Are you more high church or low church? Do you like us to do a lot of kneeling? Or do you prefer arms waving in the air? Tell us the truth, Jesus. Do you really like praise bands? How about children's sermons? Boil it down, Jesus, to where a child could understand it. Tell us what is most important." And Jesus answered them and said 5 words. Love God, love your neighbor. Love God, not just a little bit when you feel like it. Love God with every fiber of your being, with all your heart and soul and mind and strength. Love God the way a mother loves her child. Nothing is more important to a mother than her children. Love God like there is nothing more important than God. Love your neighbor. And that's not a feeling, that's a verb. Do the things for others that you do for yourself. Take care of them like you take care of yourself. House them and feed them. Stand up for them like you house and feed and stand up for yourself. And the people began to say, "Oh, well, that's simple. Doesn't take a world-class theologian to understand that. Love God. Love your neighbor. Why didn't you say so? We can do that." Soon they discovered, though, that it may be a simple concept, but it is not easy to do. It is difficult. It doesn't come naturally. In a few hundred years, these people had become so organized and so powerful that they became the official religion of the Roman Empire. And before you know it, they were in love with politics and wealth and power. And that simple love God, love your neighbor idea was buried beneath layers and layers of pomp and circumstance. Rules about communion and baptism. Do you dunk or do you sprinkle? Who can take communion? Rules about everything. And if you broke the rules, well, you could be banished. You could be killed. And that little love God, love your neighbor idea was lost. 500 years or so ago, another group of people found the Bible and found this long-forgotten teaching of Jesus where He boils it all down to what really matters. So they started something we call the Protestant Reformation, and it seemed so hopeful. But then they started disagreeing with each other over some of the same things. Communion, baptism, theology. Before you knew it, they were burning people at the stake and dividing up into different denominations. They too were spending tons of money on big buildings and arguing over the color of the carpet while the poor sat out on the street and watched. Love God. Love your neighbor. That's it. In a nutshell, boil it all down, and what you have left are these 5 simple words. Seems simple enough. Seems like we ought to be able to do that, but we can't. We can't do this clearest, simplest thing, the essence of Jesus' life and teaching. Once upon a time, God decided to do something about it, to start over with the best of the best, the cream of the crop, a righteous man named Noah. God caused a flood that wiped the slate clean, but no sooner had they gotten out of the ark than Noah got drunk, and, well, things went downhill from there. So God did something totally different. God sent His Son to show us what it looks like to love God and love your neighbor. He taught us with His words. He showed us with His actions. And we showed Him what we thought of his simple 5-word definition of religion. We killed him. But instead of bringing on another flood or some other means of punishment, again, God did something different. He raised Jesus from the dead to show us that our sin is no match for his love. Our hate is no match for his love. Our darkness is no match for his light. God's answer to our inability to do the simplest thing, love God, love your neighbor, is resurrection. In the end, love wins.